The world of writing is often romanticized. New writers are often encouraged with comforting phrases like, follow your passion, write what you know, or you've got this. While these positive mantras have their place, they don't tell the whole story. The hard truth is that writing is not just an art, but also a discipline that demands persistence, self-criticism, and a thick skin. Sugar-coating the process doesn't prepare you for the difficult road ahead. So if you're a new writer, buckle up, because today we're diving into the raw, sometimes painful advice that every writer should hear, but seldom does.
Hi and welcome in our channel Alive Inc. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe for our future videos, and thank you very much in advance.
1. Your first draft will be terrible, and that's okay. It's easy to imagine your first draft as a polished, near-perfect version of your story. You might sit down with high hopes, only to find that what appears on the page feels clumsy, awkward, or even downright embarrassing. Here's the harsh truth: your first draft will suck, and it's supposed to. Why? Because the first draft is where you're allowed to explore ideas, try new things, and make mistakes. The perfectionism you crave will come in the revision process, not during the first draft. One of the greatest disservices a writer can do to themselves is expecting perfection from the get-go. The first draft is the playground. Stop trying to make it perfect and just write. And nobody cares about your story until you make them care. One of the hardest pills to swallow is realizing that no one, absolutely no one, cares about your story until you make them care. Every writer thinks their idea is the next big thing, but the truth is, everyone has ideas. The world is saturated with stories, and the harsh reality is that readers won't care about yours unless you give them a reason to. Great writing is about engagement. Your idea might be unique, but if you can't execute it in a way that makes readers care, it will fall flat. You need to earn the reader's attention from the very first sentence, and that takes hard work, not just a great idea. 3. You are not the exception, you are the rule. As a new writer, it's tempting to believe that you are different, that you are the exception to the rule. Maybe you think you'll be the one who gets a book deal on their first try, or the one whose rough draft is ready for publication. But the reality is, you're not special, not in the sense that you're immune to the challenges that all writers face. Every successful writer you admire had to slog through countless rejections, brutal critiques, and rounds of revisions. If you think you're going to be the exception, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Writing is a craft that requires dedication, learning, and improvement over time. No one starts as a master, for not everyone will love your work, and that's a good thing. New writers often chase the idea of universal approval, hoping that their work will resonate with everyone. Here's a trick that will save you some heartache. Not everyone will love your work. Some people will hate it, criticize it, or ignore it entirely, and that's okay. Why? Because not every story is for every reader. Trying to please everyone often results in diluted, uninspired writing. The harsh truth is that polarizing work is often the most memorable. If you're afraid of negative reactions, you'll never take the risks necessary to create something truly original. Embrace the fact that some people won't like what you write, and focus on writing for the people who will. 5. You're going to get rejected a lot. Let's be clear, rejection is inevitable. No matter how talented you are, you will face rejection at some point in your writing career, and likely at multiple points. Agents, publishers, readers, someone will tell you no, and that's not a reflection of your worth as a writer. The harsh advice here: get used to it. Rejection is not the end of the road, it's part of the journey. Learn from it, develop a thicker skin, and keep writing. Every writer, from J.K. Rowling to Stephen King, has been rejected. Rejection is an opportunity to learn and grow, not a reason to quit. 6. Stop waiting for inspiration. Discipline is what matters. Inspiration is often romanticized in writing. Many new writers believe they can only create when they feel inspired. This is a trap. Inspiration is fleeting. Discipline is what gets the work done. If you wait for inspiration to strike, you'll never finish anything. Writing requires showing up day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Some days, the words will flow effortlessly, and other days, they won't. But the key to being a successful writer is consistency. Build a routine. Write even when it feels hard. Your muse is not responsible for finishing your book. 7. Your ideas aren't as original as you think. Many new writers fall into the trap of believing their idea is completely unique. Here's the uncomfortable truth. There are no original ideas. Every story has been told in some form before, and that's not a bad thing. What matters is execution, not originality. It's your voice, your perspective, and the way you tell the story that makes it stand out. Instead of obsessing over how unique your idea is, focus on how you can tell the story in a way that only you can. That's where true creativity lies. 8. You can't be afraid to kill your darlings. You've probably heard the phrase kill your darlings, but let's break it down in its harshest form. Sometimes the parts of your writing that you love the most are the ones holding your story back. It's easy to fall in love with certain characters, scenes, or lines of dialogue, but if they don't serve the story, they have to go. This can be one of the most painful parts of writing. Cutting a beautifully written scene that took hours to craft can feel like cutting off a limb. But remember, writing is about serving the story. If something doesn't advance the plot, develop the characters, or enrich the narrative, it's expendable. 9. Writing is rewriting and then rewriting again. Many new writers believe that once they finish a draft, the hardest part is over. In reality, writing is rewriting. The first draft is just the starting point. The real work happens in the revision process, where you refine, cut, and shape your story into something cohesive and compelling. Rewriting is hard, tedious, and sometimes demoralizing, but it's also where your writing truly shines. The harsh truth is that if you're not willing to revise, you're not serious about writing. Don't cling to the idea that your first draft is sacred. Be brutal, be honest, and be relentless in your revisions. 10. You will never be completely satisfied with your work. Perfectionism is the bane of many writers. You'll revise your manuscript, tweak your sentences, and agonize over word choice, but you will never be completely satisfied with your work. Here's the truth. There is no perfect story. At some point, you have to let go. You have to accept that your work will never meet the impossibly high standards you've set for yourself. And that's okay. Writing is an iterative process. Every story you write makes you a better writer, but no story will ever be flawless. 11. If you don't read, you can't write. It's astonishing how many new writers believe they can write without reading extensively. The harsh reality, you cannot be a good writer if you're not an avid reader. Reading widely across genres exposes you to different styles, structures, and voices. It teaches you what works and what doesn't in storytelling. More importantly, reading fosters empathy and insight into the human experience, both of which are essential for creating believable characters and engaging narratives. If you want to write, you must read a lot. 12. You are responsible for your own success. Many new writers wait for someone to discover them or think that success will magically happen if they just keep writing. The truth is, no one is going to make you successful but you. You have to take responsibility for your own career. This means not only writing, also marketing yourself, building a platform, and seeking out opportunities. It's not enough to write a great book. You need to be proactive in getting it into the world, whether that means querying agents, self-publishing, or marketing through social media. You are in charge of your writing career. Waiting around for someone else to make it happen is a waste of time. 13. Most writers don't make a living from writing. Here's a harsh reality that many new writers don't want to hear. Most writers do not make a full-time living from their writing. The majority of authors, even published ones, have day jobs or other sources of income. Writing is often a passion project or a side hustle. This doesn't mean you can't make a living from writing, but it does mean that you need to be realistic about your expectations. Success in writing takes time, and it's rare to strike gold right away. Be prepared to support your writing with other income streams, and don't let financial pressures kill your passion. 14. Writing isn't therapy, it's work. Many writers view writing as a form of therapy, a way to process emotions or deal with personal issues. While writing can be cathartic, the truth is, writing is not therapy, it's work. If you treat your writing as an emotional outlet, it may help you personally, but it won't necessarily create a story that resonates with readers. Your job as a writer is to create something that serves the reader, not just yourself. While personal experiences can inspire great stories, you need to shape them in a way that engages and entertains an audience. Writing for yourself is fine, but don't expect it to be publishable without extensive revision and and focus on your reader's needs. 15. It's okay to quit, but only if you're willing to live with regret. Finally, here's the harshest truth of all. It's okay to quit writing. No one is forcing you to pursue this career or passion. But if you quit, you need to be prepared to live with the regret of what might have been. Writing is hard, and sometimes walking away feels easier. But ask yourself, will you be able to live with the what if? If writing is truly important to you, don't give up. Take breaks, step back when you need to, but always return to the page. Writing is a long game, and persistence often outweighs talent. Conclusion: writing is not for the faint of heart. It's a journey filled with rejection, self-doubt, and frustration, but it's also one of the most rewarding creative endeavors you can undertake. By embracing these harsh truths, you can become a better, more resilient writer. Stop waiting for the easy path. It doesn't exist. The only way to succeed is to write, revise, learn, and keep going, no matter how difficult it gets. So, take a deep breath and get back to work. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And see you all in the next video.